Hello, welcome to my review for Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. This film is directed by Tim Burton, director of films such as Big Fish, Edward Scissorhands. He's directed many films and is generally conceived to be a pretty good director. This film is based on a book. It's a series of books, I believe, and it follows the story of a young man. I'm forgetting his name now, but he's played by Asa Butterfield, who has a hard time having friends in high school. He's sort of an outcast. So him and his dad take a trip to an island, and when they do, he discovers this fantastical world where he goes back 70 years and attends this place called, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It's a place where all these peculiar children who have special things about them, like special superpowers, all go to one school together, and it's about him deciding if he wants to stay in the present day reality or go there. So this is a film I was interested in seeing. The trailers I thought were okay. Ace and Butterfield in the trailers did look pretty wooden to me, but everything else I thought looked fine, and I gotta say that this film is alright. It's an okay film. It's not too memorable, though. It's classic Tim Burton stuff. You get a lot of really, really good-looking stuff. The sets in here are beautiful. A lot of the cinematography is really good. And the special effects are pretty weak for considering what they are, but they are shot very well. And just a lot of the background stuff, like shots of the sky and shots of time reversing, all looked really, really good. But you come to expect that from a Tim Burton film. Definitely what I liked most about this film was how creative the powers were, because each individual child had to have something peculiar about them, had to have their own special power, and they're all... I wish I could have seen more of the powers used, but for what we see, a lot of the powers are really, really cool and really unique, and I understand that they got that from the book, but still, just seeing it on screen, it was very, very well done. There is some really good acting throughout. Asa Butterfield is insanely wooden. I'll get to that in the bad section. But everyone else generally does a good job. There's times where people are overacting. There's times when they're underacting. But most of the time, they're consistently acting at a pretty good pace. There are a lot of parts that are entertaining throughout, and there are lots of parts that I honestly wouldn't mind watching again. The film as a whole I'm never going to see again, but there are a couple clips here and there that are just entertaining to watch. So that's definitely one of the highest strengths about Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. However, there are also quite a few bad things. Previously mentioned, Asa Butterfield is so wooden. It's insane. He's practically sleepwalking through this role. He gives no effort into it. He doesn't care what's going on. He's just sort of walking around, delivering lines, showing absolutely no emotion. And that got so annoying after a while. About 5 minutes in, I could already tell, oh, I'm not going to like Asa Butterfield in this film. And I was right. Super duper annoying to see an actor be so wooden. It was nearly as bad as Hayden Christensen in the Star Wars prequels. It was on that level of wooden. It was terrible. Besides that, there are a lot of things with the script that are done terribly, such as a dad character who plays the dad of Asa Butterfield. Terribly written character, terribly realized, just really had no emotion to him. He was just sort of there. He didn't really do anything, and you didn't care about him. He was one of the worst characters in the film. He just sort of, probably the worst, just sat around and really did nothing. There are a lot of scenes where they just straight up tell exposition, or Asa Butterfield is asking questions and he gets exposition from that. Probably about 55 or 60% of this film is just exposition, which in a film like this I really was not hoping. It's like Harry Potter, only in the first one, it's just a ton of exposition of what's going on and Harry going around not doing anything cool, missing out on a lot of the cool magic stuff in the film, in the first one. Again, the CGI looked pretty fake. The ending it wasn't a random ending, it didn't end like that, but I still had a lot of questions that were left unanswered that I wish I could have got answered, and even the ending itself, I thought, what are the main character's parents doing about this? I'm not spoiling anything, but I just wanted to know what they were going to do about that. The third act has a lot, it was just completely dumb. I don't know what they were doing with that. They were going to I don't know what time period. It clearly wasn't present day, but it clearly wasn't in 1927 or wherever they were. And I don't know what they were trying to do with that action scene. And the first action set piece in that, the very first one where they're fighting the giant creatures, they was set to one of the worst scores I've ever heard. It it wasn't a terrible score. It was just set to the wrong thing because it did not work with what they were trying to do in the scene at all. Um, Also, there's a grandpa character in the movie who's been dead for probably 1 or 2 days. I'm not spoiling anything that's in the beginning of the movie, but the main character, Asa Butterfield, treats it like it's been 10 years, and it was quite annoying because you're like, he just died. Why are you acting like it's been forever? So there are a lot of dumb occurrences like that, and all in all, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children is full of a lot of those. I have to say, I did not enjoy this movie. It's an okay movie, I guess. Some will enjoy it. I personally didn't, and that is why I give the film a 4.75 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review. I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.